The Justice Department is announcing that we have agreed to a consent decree with Fulton County, Georgia, and the Fulton County Sheriff to address violations and improve conditions uncovered during our investigation of the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta. In November of 2024, the Civil Rights Division and the U.S. Attorney's Office announced the results from our pattern or practice investigation of the Fulton County Jail. Our report found reasonable cause to believe that Fulton County and the Fulton County Sheriff had violated the 8th and 14th Amendments of the Constitution, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. We found that the county and sheriff failed to protect incarcerated people from the substantial risk of serious harm due to violence by other incarcerated people. From 2022 to the present, 6 incarcerated people died violently at the jail. And in 2023, the jail had more than 300 stabbings. The report also identified a pattern or practice of excessive force at the jail, especially regarding taser use. The report determined further that the county and jail failed to provide adequate living conditions, sanitation, nutrition, or medical and mental health services to incarcerated people. We found that restrictive housing practices at the jail are unconstitutional and discriminatory and especially harm 17-year-olds and people with mental health needs. We also concluded that the county and sheriff do not provide special education services to eligible 17-year-olds as required by law. After releasing our findings report, we discussed with the county and sheriff the path forward, and those discussions produced the proposed consent decree, which sets forth concrete steps that the county and sheriff must take to improve safety and well-being in the jail. These include key requirements to keep people safe, such as fixing the classification system at the jail so as to appropriately house people, improving supervision by filling the mandatory posts at the jail, keeping doors and locks in good working order, and implementing plans to prevent contraband from circulating at the jail. The proposed consent decree and the county and sheriff's cooperation in reaching it is truly a model for addressing deficiencies that we see in too many jails and prisons across the nation. If fully implemented, the consent decree's comprehensive remedies will reduce violence and unnecessary force, improve sanitation and nutrition, increase the quality of medical and mental health care, reduce unnecessary isolation, especially for individuals with mental illness and 17-year-old children, and afford children with disabilities the education to which they are entitled. The consent decree also calls for an independent monitor whom the parties will jointly select and propose to the court. And that monitor will assess compliance with the consent decree and issue public reports every 6 months. The Civil Rights Division is tasked with protecting the rights of people held inside our jails and prisons across the nation. Our investigations have identified systemic violations of the rights of incarcerated people and have identified solutions to address the root causes of those violations. People who live in jails, many of them are not convicted of a crime, and they're human beings with fundamental rights that continue behind bars. We commend Fulton County and the Fulton County Sheriff's Office for working collaboratively with the Justice Department and in agreeing to the proposed consent decree. Through the remedial actions that the proposed decree requires, the county and sheriff have committed to protecting the rights of people at the jail and to taking affirmative steps to keep them safe.